If that creator doesn't feel a good vibe, they're not going to lean into it. And here's what I will tell you. If you could build a good relationship with an influencer, they will go above and beyond whatever you contracted for. They want it to do well. But when you treat a creator, an influencer, like just a regular media insertion, here's my 468 by 60 banner I want you to put on your website and run a run of site ad. When you start treating them like that, that's when the creator does the bare minimum. You get nothing out of it. And it's garbage snot.
Hello, I am Brianna Doe, and this is Stop the Scroll. Let's get into the content that makes us stop, click, and care. So, okay, I think we're live.
Ooh, hello.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm so pumped for this. Should you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm a loser. No, I'm Jay Schwedelson. I'm here for two reasons. One is I have an agency called Guru Media Hub, and we're with a lot of different brands. We have all sorts of different media, but one of the media that we do is influencer campaigns at scale. So not just hiring, like Chloe and Kim Kardashian, but hiring mid-level influencers for consumer and B2B. It doesn't matter how niche you are in B2B, how boring your industry is, or same thing for consumer, and scaling those up, making sure there's real ROI, real attribution. And then sadly, because people are wrong, sometimes I do a lot of these creator campaigns and I promote stuff and it goes horribly wrong. But I'll share with you my playbook on what I think works and doesn't work. And yeah, that's my story.
Okay, to be fair, you have some of the best brand partnerships I've ever seen.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I totally know what you're referring to. And I'm Brianna. I run Verbatim. We're an influencer marketing agency. We work with Jay on all things, everything. And I kind of just forced him to hang out with me. So,
Yay.
Okay, so first question we have, as a creator, what is the worst brand pitch you've ever received and what made it so bad?
So I would say an in general statement is if you're going to bring on a creator, do anything with you, the reason you like them is because they have a voice, they break through and all the different things. And so the things that I just absolutely won't do as a creator, or I won't do if I'm hiring creators, is really try to tie their hands, because then you're limiting their voice. So if you say to them, listen, it has to be these words, you have to say it this way, you have to point the camera like this way. That's when it goes sideways, it gets no traction. If you don't like what the creator does when they create, you shouldn't partner with them, because really all you're trying to do is piggyback on what it is they're already doing. You can't recreate what the creator does. So those are the ones that are trash, garbage, terrible. What do you think?
For me, it's the one, well, that for sure. I would say it's also the ones where I feel really insulted by what they're offering in terms of fee, or like the ask doesn't match the fee. So it's not necessarily insulting, but like I had a brand once ask me, they wanted 12-month competitor exclusivity, but they were only paying me for like 2 posts. Yeah. So I did take my creator hat off, put the influencer marketer hat on, and told them that was a ridiculous ask and there was no way I was going to do it. But I think to your point, I feel like I see that all the time. It's kind of like the brand just wants to rent the creator's audience, but you don't actually want the creator's voice, in which case you probably choose a different creator.
Yeah, that's totally right. And to your point, and I don't think enough people realize this when they're actually working with a creator. I'm going to flip the script on you. I don't think enough brands ask for that exclusivity, in their category, even if it's for a limited window, 90 days, you won't work with blah, blah, blah. I think you should ask for that, because it's weird. I did this, which was a fail, for 2 different competitive brands. I did stuff within a 30-day window, and it was so contrived. I looked like an idiot. The brands looked like idiots. And I was like, I had almost limit myself from doing that. But if you are going to work with a creator, you should put in there at least a limited window about the brands that they can and can't work with.
1000%. So we typically, I try to at least negotiate as a marketer at least 15 days, ideally 30. Perfect world is like 3 months, but it also depends obviously on the scope of your partnership. But you're right, like competitor exclusivity, I feel like as a creator, it just makes me look like a billboard, and it almost makes me look like I don't even know which product I like, so I'm just going to put in all of them, which obviously is no win. Have you ever regretted a partnership?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I don't do anymore for everybody, and I think this is a playbook for everybody. I don't do one-off posts anymore. I used to be like, oh, hey, here, do this post, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do that. And then everybody's disappointed, because you really don't you have to kind of build your voice. So when you're working with a creator, whether somebody's hiring me or we're hiring a bunch of creators, I think it's got to be, they're doing social posts, they're in your email newsletter. If there's a community, there's going to participate in a community, they're going to be on a webinar. It's this holistic thing. So the days of kind of transactional, I want 2 posts and that's it, I think that that's kind of the influencer stuff from the past, and it's kind of garbage and it doesn't work.
So what do you prefer in terms of the structure?
First of all, I like creators that have multiple things going on. That doesn't mean you need to be big on multiple platforms. Okay, this is the social platform I'm big on. I love creators that have newsletters because newsletters with endorsement style ads really, really work. And then appearances of some kind, maybe appearances on a webinar or going live on Instagram on the brand channel, some sort of live thing so the person can actually interact with the community. I think packages like that really get to tell kind of a story better. What do you like?
I prefer longer term partnerships around 3 months or longer because I think any longer than that, if I haven't partnered with you before, like I need to get to know the brand and the brand needs to get to know me.
Yeah.
I do think, though, I've been thinking about this for a Stop the Scroll newsletter article. I'm really torn on this idea of one-off posts being transactional. Or is it that they are transactional, but that's not a bad thing? Because in B2C, it isn't a bad thing. People do one-off posts all the time. And obviously B2B is different. The audience is different. The messaging is different.
I think the expectations are rough though. You do a post. I mean, you're all about attribution and you're all about what the person get out of it. I mean, how much can you really get out of one post?
Well, and I think that's what makes it different from B2C. And I think the problem, though, is that B2C marketers understand what they're trying to accomplish if they do one post. B2B marketers put all their eggs in one basket and think this one post is going to drive 97 million registrations or signups or whatever.
Yeah, agree.
I don't know if it's the one-off post itself or if it's just like the mindset that marketers have around it.
Yeah.
What's something that you think brands think we care about that we don't?
I'll flip it around a little bit. I think that brands view all their content in one bucket or all their offers in one bucket, meaning that like, okay, we want to promote this thing. You know, we have an ebook, we have a webinar, or we have this new sale that we're doing. And I would say 50% of the time, I have to push back and be like, that offer is terrible and it's not going to work. And my audience isn't going to like that. And the same if we're hiring creators, I want that pushback from the creators because people take stinkers. Okay, we have this offer. We aren't able to get people to download this new ebook. We aren't able people to take advantage of this new sale. It's not going well. I have an idea. Let's get some creators to amplify this. That'll make it work. A stinker is a stinker. So what you really need to think about with any creator is something that's working. We want to now have it do really good, get a creator involved. You cannot have a creator solve your core problem with your offer that you're going to. You should only be working with influencers and creators once you have something that's actually working. So I have no idea what the question was because I'm an egomaniac. I just like hearing myself talk and I'm narcissistic, but that's a very important thing I just said because it came out of my mouth.
Well, it is not to boost your ego, but that is important. And I think the same way about brands that want creators to be their sales team. Okay, if I'm posting for you, I'm posting for you. I'm not building out your pipeline or like your lead funnel or anything like that. I'm not on the calls. I'm not closing deals for you. And so I think putting those expectations on the creator also isn't effective. Like I'm not responsible for you closing the deal. What was your messaging once they click on the link in my post? What does the landing page look like? Are you emailing them? Are you following up? Like that's on the brand. So.
I have a hot take question. Hot take. I hate that. Who says hot take? I just did.
Take is fun.
It's so lame. So the new thing I'm seeing, which I think is great, is when you do, let's say you do a post, right? Creator does a post and the post starts to rip, starts to do well. And then the brand jumps in and they do a paid boost on your post.
Yeah.
I'm very pro this idea and it works really, really well. And I really want to even start baking that into what we do with folks. Like, okay, as soon as we see traction from a creator, or if it's one of mine, the brand should have budget set aside to amplify that post. What do you think about that motion? Because it seems to be working really well.
Okay, so I love it. We recommend it to all of our clients actually, regardless of the platform, by the way. It's like LinkedIn thought leadership ads, boosting on Instagram. But if you boost from the creator's profile, it's going to land, it's going to look more organic in the feed as opposed to Apple doing an ad, right? So I think it's a great idea. I think some creators are getting confused about that though, and they think they should be charging extra.
Extra to allow it to be boosted?
I'm running into that a lot.
I didn't know I could charge for that.
No, well, because us, it's free.
Right. That's what I was saying. I feel like I should pay somebody for that.
Right. I should be paying the brand. But no, I love boosting posts. I think it's, and to your point earlier too, when the post is already performing, if it's not, if it's flopping, I wouldn't necessarily put budget behind it. But if it's one that's doing well and it's getting engagement, you should be expanding or extending that reach.
Never put paid dollars. Forget about a creator's post. Anything on social media. Do not put paid dollars behind something that's not working. You're burning money. You can't make up for the fact it's bad. You put dollars behind the stuff that is working.
So do you think you kind of mentioned this earlier, do you think it ever works when they want you to promote like a lead magnet or an ebook?
Well, ebook, no. I would rename the ebook. I think that's something else that people get lost on. So let's just say if somebody came to me and said, "We have this ebook we really want to promote." I know right now, and if everybody here, I ask right now, what would you rather download, an ebook or a guide? Everybody's going to say guide because nobody actually reads an ebook unless you have insomnia, right? So oftentimes we'll be like, all right, this is what we want to promote, this horrible ebook. I'm like, great. We want to rename it the ultimate guide to blah, blah, blah. And as long as we get that flexibility to do that, I think it can crush it. It's when brands say, okay, it has to be exactly like this. You're like, screw that. It's not going to work. And you're better off managing expectations up front than taking the money because it ain't good. It's bad signal for everybody.
Well, one, I love the rebrand because I do love the guide. I don't ever read ebooks.
Yeah.
But I think the worst is when you don't find out the brand is like this until you sign the contract. Now, I
Yeah.
think, at least for me, I'm in a bit of a unique situation. Like I can usually tell just based on how the negotiation is going if they're going to be really controlling. But I think a lot of creators run into it where they don't know until they get the brief.
Agree.
Have you ever run into that? Like you sign the contract and then it sucks?
Oh yeah, I've signed contracts that I said, okay, forget this. This is horrendous. Because also the other thing is, it's like you said earlier, you have to know how the working vibe is going to be. And the weird thing is that you think that when you hire an influencer or a creator that you're in the driver's seat because you're the brand, you're the one paying, but it's really a partnership. If that creator doesn't feel a good vibe, they're not going to lean into it. And here's what I will tell you. If you could build a good relationship with an influencer, they will go above and beyond whatever you contracted for. They want it to do well. But when you treat a creator, an influencer like just a regular media insertion, here's my 468 by 60 banner I want you to put on your website and run a run of site ad. When you start treating them like that, that's when the creator does the bare minimum. You get nothing out of it. And it's garbage snot.
Okay, so there are some questions coming in.
Yeah.
Dom asked, what should we expect from an influencer? A lot, I think. So, okay, to your point, Jay, you want them to go above and beyond. You want to treat them as like a partner, not a media buy or an ad insertion. But it is still like a paid partnership in most cases, unless you're doing trade or, whatever. But like for paid partnerships, you are still paying them. There is still an exchange of value. You can expect them to, or you should expect them to actually work hard on the content, like put their voice into it, right? Honestly, I'm really tired of the posts where the creator just churns it out after 2 seconds and it doesn't sound like them at all. So you can expect them and should expect them to actually give their all for the content, to share their opinion or feedback. Like if you give them this brief and they say, hey, that's not actually going to resonate with my audience, can I tweak it like this? They know their audience better than you do, right? And so I think that's something you can expect or at least ask for them. And I would say too, you can expect them to share feedback about how the partnership went if you ask them for it. Because I think one thing to remember too, which was my point, is that creators don't live in a silo. They don't stop existing after they post this content for you. They're still going to be talking to folks in their audience, talking to other creators. You want your brand's reputation to improve after this partnership. And so treating them with respect, you can also expect them to treat you with respect too.
Yeah. And I would also say when we're trying to decide who should I work with, a creator, influencer, whatever, number one, don't just look at all the vanity metrics. It's not necessarily about how many followers they have, but you want to look at the engagement that the posts get, not even just likes or whatever, but comments and all of that, because anybody can have, the vanity metrics. If the creator influencer you're working with is not asking you like what your goals are, right? What is the outcome that you're looking for? That's a big red flag. And then how often are creators or influencers actually posting for other brands? You don't actually want somebody who's posting multiple times a week for other brands. It gets very, very diluted. And the other one I would say is if you reach out to a creator influencer and they jump at it and you're like, oh yeah, immediately, let's get this going, red flag. Right. So just have your antenna up.
Okay, I have a couple spicy takes. One, so I agree with you on like multiple sponsor posts within a week. This isn't really spicy, but I would recommend kind of baking that into your contract because otherwise you don't really have a say. So like if you don't want that, something we occasionally do, and I'm not a lawyer, so do with this what you will, but what we occasionally do is bake in a clause where it's like within 24 to 48 hours, whatever the case may be, no other sponsored content can go live. So at least you have a buffer there. Creators might charge more for that. Some do because you are renting essentially additional real estate on their profile, but I think it's a fair expectation. I don't know if I believe in vanity metrics. I don't think anything is a vanity metric.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot because people would say vanity metric and it was like something in my brain glitched out. I just was not feeling it. And I've been thinking about it. And I think no metric is a vanity metric if you're framing it properly within your campaign. If you as a marketer know what you're measuring, and what you're trying to optimize towards within this partnership or program or campaign or whatever, then you'll prioritize the metrics that align with that and you'll deprioritize the other ones. That doesn't make it a vanity metric.
I agree with you. I guess what I was saying is like, let's say you go on Instagram and somebody has 1 million followers.
Right.
Okay. But their posts get 25 likes
Right.
or whatever. That follower count, especially on Instagram, LinkedIn's tougher to have fake garbage. But on Instagram, that's like a joke. You know,
Yeah.
you're not working with an influencer, you're working with a scumbag.
Well, okay. And that's a good point. I think there are two types of vanity metrics. The ones I'm talking about are like, do you see these posts and stuff when somebody just says like, I just hit 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, but I don't care because
Yeah.
it's a vanity metric. But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
I'm going to celebrate it. That kind of thing. Like it's not a vanity metric.
No, that's valid, especially on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's very different. I mean, I'm sure you can buy followers. I don't know how. So for LinkedIn, I think it's a different vibe.
Which is crazy. But I do agree with you. I think when you're actually measuring whether an influencer is right for you for a partnership or for a program, follower count matters if you're doing a brand awareness campaign, but what matters more is like the engagement, the quality of the engagement, their ICP, stuff like that.
You know, somebody put in the chat, and I just want to address it because I had the same thought, and I'll tell you I was wrong. Somebody said in the chat, if you put like sponsored posts out as a creator on your feed, does that dilute what you're doing? Does your following think less of you? Whatever. I used to think that. Okay. And then the weirdest thing that happened to me was when I started putting out, I became like a brand ambassador for a couple of brands. And I started putting out posts on my feed about so and so brand. Go check this out. I was shocked. It actually, people felt like I had more credibility. Oh, I'm partnered with this really cool brand and I'm into this thing. And then people would hit me up like, that's so cool, whatever. And so, not that you could do it like every day, but I'm telling you, it's almost like you'd be shocked that when you actually do these brand relationships, it lifts your credibility, which I did not expect.
Yeah, and I feel like the people that say you're selling out when you do brand partnerships, I genuinely don't know where that thought process comes from. First of all, you release or produce free content every day on a platform or multiple platforms. Getting brand partnerships that help kind of like pay for that content is not a bad thing. I think, and you mentioned this earlier, I think I agreed with you then too. If you do sponsored posts every day and you look like a billboard, yeah, I think that dilutes credibility. It would dilute anybody's, but I don't think it's bad.
No, not at all. And you know, we got to step out of our comfort zone. And by the way, you have to believe in the brand. You know, you would hope the person that you're following, whatever, when they say check this out, they actually mean check this out. I've turned down a boatload of stuff that I'm like, this thing sucks. I don't want to promote that. Right. So you would hope that whoever you're following is not a tool. Well, I mean, I'm a tool, but not related to who I promote.
What you promote, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
what do you think about? I know there's a debate about this. Like some people don't think creators should partner with a brand if they haven't used it before the partnership.
I'm into that. I think, you know, for me, if I'm not aware of the thing, I do make sure to use it before I do the thing.
Yeah.
For sure. But I would be lying if I said that every brand that came to me, I was already a user and then it was just pure cosmic perfection that I'm a user and I want to promote it. That's
Right.
not true. But they'll somebody, hey, we have this great new thingamabob or a big company, blah. I'm like, let me try it out. Oh, it's really cool. Great. I could totally advocate for that. But absolutely, you don't want somebody to be, you know, net new to it and post and be like, it's awesome. And you're like, yeah, they're full of garbage.
Yeah, they never used it. No, I agree with you. First of all, you're assuming that I've heard of and used every single tool in the
Right.
entire universe, which is insane. And
Totally.
sometimes like a brand will reach out and it's exactly the type of tool I was looking for myself, for the team. Just because I didn't use it until I started talking to them doesn't mean that I'm selling out.
By the way, I will put something else out there. Sometimes I talk about brands that I'm not partnered with. And what I've come to realize is, and this is important if you're a creator or whatever, like I love Gamma. I don't work with Gamma.app. I don't work with them, but I love Gamma. And I talk about the Gamma.app to make presentations and stuff. And then I have to be very clear, and I think everyone has to be clear about saying, hey, listen, I'm not a brand partner for blah, blah, blah. I think it's important for people out there to say that if you're going to do any partnerships, whatever, or not, or whatever, because people think everything coming out of your mouth then is paid for. And so it's important to be clear that it's not.
I'm dropping a comment in the chat for Fiona. She's head of creators at Gamma. You love Gamma.
I do love Gamma. I do talk about Gamma all the time. I am not trying to get a brand deal. I'm not, but I do love Gamma a
Fiona,
lot.
sponsor Jay.
Right. That's amazing. This is how you get a brand deal. That's
Exactly. Okay, so that question that was asked earlier,
Yeah.
I want to touch it from the other angle too. So I'm a nutrition focused doctor and I've been worried about clients' trust getting diluted if we start influencer partnerships.
Yeah.
I think it depends more on the influencers you're partnering with. If they are creators that your ICP follows, then, or like follows and trusts and engages with, you're not going to dilute trust. You're going to build trust because you're getting your name out there in front of like through the right people. But if you just start partnering with anybody, then yes.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I think, especially in the category you're in, nutrition and the medical world, my wife's a dermatologist, so I see this all the time. All she gets asked for is, well, what's the best skin lotion or whatever, to make sure I don't get sunburn, what's better, Retin-A or Botox, I don't know, whatever the hell it is. Always asking about brand stuff. I think when you're in that kind of category, people want to know what brands you think are good. And as long as you're advocating and speaking about brands that you actually like, I think it's a value. You're actually providing a value by doing those sponsored posts.
They asked a follow-up question. I do think healthcare is a tough one because there are a lot of
Laws.
I don't know. Yeah, like snake oil salesmen
Oh,
selling
for sure.
a new supplement on TikTok with like no backing. But I
Oh
think
my God. I went on Ozempic, didn't work. I'm still a whale. And so I went on Ozempic and I don't know what the hell happened. I feel like I scaled up too fast or something. I had like a mental breakdown. And the other problem was I didn't lean into it. And so my wife was like, you can't just eat through the Ozempic. You have to participate. And because I was shoving like cookies down my mouth. And she's like, I was like, no, 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 I took the shot. I'm going to get skinny. She goes, no, you have to also try. So I powered through and I ate through the Ozempic and I got fatter.
what? You're supposed to eat less and work out while you're on it.
I know. I thought if I took the shot, I could just eat like a farm animal and everything would be great. I didn't know I had to try. So I failed.
Okay, so which partnerships have been your favorite and what stood out? You don't have to name names if you don't want to.
So first of all, I love memes. I think that is the universal love language. It's like hieroglyphics for like our day and age. And so I think that memes, especially on LinkedIn, when I'm allowed to use a meme that I create to actually do the posts or whatever, and in my newsletter and all, first of all, they crush it. So when a brand is like, you do you, they still want to see it, fine, but they're like, you do you. And then I send over the most outrageous, ridiculous, like I just did one this past week where I used an image from Summer House, the reunion, right? Part 2. By the way, West is not coming back for the next season.
Wait,
Summer House,
really?
just FYI, got announced last night.
Isn't
But
it-
anyway, so I used the meme of Amanda and West being very sad, and I used that in the post, and it did well and whatever. When a brand allows me to go and kind of be me, I will push so hard for that brand when they're like, no, 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 we made this template in Canva and you should use this. I'm like, vomit. This is going to get 4 likes. This is a loser. What about you?
First of all, is he really not coming back?
Yeah, he's really not coming back. How about that? Yeah.
But Amanda is?
Apparently Amanda is, and Kyle, of course, is because he has to promote Loverboy. By the way, you see Kyle's collab with HubSpot? Wait, can we just talk about this for a second? Did you not see it?
No.
Well, this is amazing. So Kyle from Summer House did a collab with HubSpot, and it was great.
Oh, wow.
And it was all about their new AEO stuff. But the craziest thing that happened was the next day, Kyle did a collab with Meta. And this is a great example of there needs to be a little bit of space in between these collabs because it was kind of ridiculous.
Back to back is crazy. You couldn't even
Yeah.
bake in like a couple days.
Yeah, literally one day.
That's wild. I know this is a complete sidebar, but I am a little shocked that West isn't coming back. It reminds me a lot of Vanderpump Rules. Like imagine, did
Yeah.
you watch that?
Yeah, of course.
Imagine if Sandoval hadn't come back the
Yeah.
next season.
I agree. Who's going to watch?
So actually going back to the memes thing then.
Yeah.
I think humor is really hard for B2B brands. Like it's hard to actually trust a funny creator to actually do their thing. Do you feel like you kind of had to earn that or brands just started trusting you?
Let's put humor into a bigger category. I think that having a creator, or if you're working with any creator or you're being a creator, behind the scenes, BTS content or pointing the camera at yourself, walking around. The one thing I don't think you want a creator to do right now is just taking some sort of boring template you have and just pushing that out there.
Right.
Right. So whether it's humor or it's some sort of really lo-fi format, that really should be your go-to-market when working with a creator, even if it feels a little bit off-brand. I mean, I love talking about Mark Zuckerberg because the guy went from being a bot, like literally a bot, to now, he likes running around with his shirt off doing jujitsu and he crushes it, right? And that's where the world's at. We want to see more naked Mark Zuckerberg because that's what gets engagement. Now, you don't need your creator to be naked, but you need them to be more human.
Might be the title of your next book.
Yeah. Don't be naked.
Oh, actually, yeah. And Jay had a book come out. Yes.
The book came out last week. I'll put it in the chat. All net proceeds are going to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, Hello.
Why do we support
Well,
marketing?
stupider people have done it because I'm stupid. And there's got to be somebody else out there who's stupider than I am. There has to be one. Hello, wherever you are.
And they've done it.
That. Yeah. And they did it.
They did
So
it.
good job, stupid person. My next book is I Found the Stupidest Person. And I'm going to list all my friends from college because they're the stupidest people I know.
They'll love the shout out.
Yeah.
What do you think about affiliate deals?
Oh, they should die. They should rot in hell. Can I say that out loud? Oh, I just said it
You
out
already
loud.
said it. We're
No, so let me say there's two different categories. So like the big thing right now, I have an 18-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. So I don't know if you know about Shop My. You know Shop My? I think it's Shop My, where all these creators are going on there now and
No.
everything they're wearing, you know, you could buy what they're wearing,
Yeah.
right?
like to know it.
Yeah,
LTK.
those type of affiliate deals I'm okay with because it's kind of like this is what I'm really wearing, buy it, whatever. But the people that are just pumping out garbage, click on this link, buy this piece of garbage, I can't take it. It's the underbelly of the internet. It kind of ruins everything. High-end affiliate deals, great. Low-end affiliate deals, you're a horrible person. You need to go rethink your life choices. What do you think?
Okay, to your point, I agree. There are two types of affiliate deals. Affiliate marketing is not an area that I'm as familiar with, just straight affiliate marketing. It can work as a hybrid combo, but what I have found is that typically when brands want to do that, they're just trying to lower their upfront costs. And so
Right.
they're really reliant on the creator reaching certain performance metrics. And the creator is already producing the content regardless of how it performs. That's not to say that they're not trying with the content, but I think too much of those deals just hinge on the creator making sure it goes viral or whatever. And creators can pick up on that, in my opinion. So I think that's why a lot of hybrid deals are rejected. But to your point, higher ticket affiliate deals, yeah, I think like
Well done.
hybrid affiliate deals. I do think there should always be a flat fee associated with it. I think that's fair. You're already creating the content. Let's say you're going to repurpose it too. Like that should be taken care of. The person who's asking this question also asked the healthcare question though. And I think affiliate deals in the healthcare space are a little iffy. I think that can dilute trust because that's what you see so much. Even if you're doing it well, like that's what we see so many creators doing on like TikTok and Instagram and just like hawking these products. And you just don't want to be associated with them, even though you shouldn't be. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also you could burn your brand. I mean, forget about the creator not doing a great job getting you deals. If you're just out there, you know, a lot of times when you have an affiliate thing, the creator, whatever, is trying to just get as many people to take advantage as possible. So they're burning their network. They're out there aggressively. They're doing weird stuff. So anybody that really just jumps at the chance, say, oh yeah, I'll do any affiliate deal. Again, red flag. You actually want to work with the creators that give you pushback and say, well, I need half of this paid, half of this affiliate, some sort of flat fee. Because if they're just willing to take any affiliate deal, that means that they just don't care about burning their audience.
Okay, and I'm actually going to go back because I just realized we didn't touch on this. Your red flags earlier, one of them was like if they jump on the deal too quickly in general. What if they're
Yeah.
just excited? Like, what's the difference?
Okay, to me, the difference is not like, okay, hey, we're interested in partnering with you, and you jumping on and say, let's have a call. That's not jumping on the deal. Jumping on the deal is like, I don't know if you get DMs like this. I get DMs. Okay, for $2,000, we're going to pay you, and we want you to put this post up, and they send it to me. And then if you write back, oh my God, yes, absolutely, I'm going to do this tomorrow. That is red flag, bad, horrendous. Don't do that, whatever, because that means they're just willing to take anything that comes their way. There was a question that came in about expectations from lead time to contract to action. What's your vibe on that?
So I'm going to break this down and I'll give like a short answer. You reach out to the creator. They rarely get back to you the first time, especially if you're like reaching out via LinkedIn DM. So sometimes you follow up again. So that'll take about a week. Move it to email immediately, work through the scope details, get to the contracting, probably about 3 to 5 days. And then I like to give them at least a week with the product if they haven't used it before, ideally longer, so anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. So I'm looking typically at like 3 to 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 days all in. So that's about, I agree totally.
Yeah. If you try and rush the onboarding phase, they're not going to be able to speak to the product or service or whatever as well. You have to give them that time. And I will say the FTC does require the creator to at least use the product before, but I think giving them at least a week, I mean, that's just good practice. You want them to be able to talk about it well.
Totally.
So, yeah.
By the way, another trend that I'm seeing a lot more of is in-person activations tied in with the creators or influencers.
Mhm.
Where, okay, you do all this stuff, post, newsletter, whatever, but what would it take also for you to be at this event or be at this dinner or be at this thing and also promote that you're going to be there? This is not me promoting. I just think it's funny. Like I'm doing this thing with Cvent because they have their big event coming up in July. So they're doing a pickleball tournament, and I'm actually going to be dressed as a pickle playing pickleball. So if you think anything is beneath me, I want you to know it's not.
Is this going to be live streamed, by the way?
Oh, I'm bringing shame to my family. Generations of my family are gonna be in shame. So shame.
Amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. So, how do brands identify influencers who genuinely align with their values and target audience? So, I'd start with the target audience, look at who your ICP is following and engaging with and what channels. So, if you're going to launch a campaign or program, at this point, you should have a pretty deep understanding of where your audience hangs out on the internet, who they trust, who they listen to, etc. So, now it's just a matter of plugging in an influencer program to make it sound super simple. What you'll do is you'll narrow down that list. You have your short list of potential influencers. You'll reach out to them. And that's when you ask for all analytics, media kits, audience demographics, post performance, overall, like profile performance, things like that. And that's when you can really make sure that the audience aligns. In terms of values, you'll get that from their content. So if you look at their last 3-6 months of posts, are you comfortable having your brand post next to any of this? And if the answer is no, or even maybe, then I would say they don't align.
Yeah, and the other thing I would throw out there is use your own network. Meaning, if you have a company of any size, or even decent friend network, professional friend network, ask people, say, who are the 5 people that you kind of trust the most, follow the most, get the most out of content wise. Ask that internally to your team. Everyone put in Slack. Ask anyone that you do work with, and then really make that triangulate that and say, okay, well, here are the 4 people that everybody said, and I follow them too. That's really who I would kind of focus in on. It's really hard to have never heard of somebody and then just be like, oh, look at these 3 posts here. They're really good. Okay, let's work with that rando. That's a little bit hard. You want to kind of build a consensus.
And if you have already done some influencer campaigns and there were folks that went well with, ask them, like, are there folks that you are close with or would recommend? So that's
Yeah.
their network.
Is there any example of client health who has successfully used influence marketing for the practice study how they did it? Well, first of all, there's a lot of, I would say, in the aesthetics industry, especially if you go on Instagram, whatever, there's a lot of plastic surgeons, a lot of, people in derm, that whole world, anybody that's selling elective procedures at ridiculous costs. There's a lot of those playing in the influencer category there. So I would look at that.
Okay, what's the most common mistake you've seen some of your brand partners make when they first start working with you?
I'm asking you that question first because I need to think about that.
The most common mistake is not having a clear definition of success. Like if you don't even have the brief ready and you just want me to kind of spitball ideas, one, that's just going to push back the activation itself. Like some of the pre-work that should be done is aligning with your team, not just yourself, but like CMO, head of marketing, whoever's on your team, what success looks like and what you're driving towards. So then you can bake that into the briefs. Then I actually know what I should be doing. Otherwise, we're just kind of burning time. And then I would also say setting unrealistic expectations with turnaround times. So if we start working together, if I sign the contract today and you want the first post draft tomorrow, you're not giving me any time to actually familiar with the product.
So Byron just asked a good question, and I want to talk about it for a second, which is he's a creator in the construction education space. And the question is, do platforms suppress sponsored posts because they have their own paid ad stuff because, sponsored posts don't circulate as well? I'll say 2 things. First of all, I've seen no evidence that the platforms actually do suppress sponsored posts. What I would say is the management of expectations on 2 fronts. Number one, 1,000,000,000%, I don't care how good of a creator you are, your sponsored posts that you're doing for brands are going to do worse than just your regular awesome content that you put out because it's a sponsored post. That being said, what I always try to do with the creators that we work with is how do we make this still as incredibly valuable for the person that's seeing it and not just saying this thing is great. We're saying this thing is great and this guide has all this stuff and this is what I learned from it. This is what you're going to get out of it. This is why you got to download this thing. I learned so much from this thing. It is actually incredible. And using some sort of visual, whether it's behind the scenes or a meme or something, so that way it does circulate well. But to manage your own expectation, it is almost a never that you're going to do as well as your regular content because your regular content is for everybody. I don't know what you think.
I agree with all of that. So sponsored content does just do worse because this sounds like common sense, but it's not organic, right? It's not going to look exactly like your other content.
That's exactly right.
But I mean, it could be as simple as like the fact that you have to mention the brand in the post and put this line about thank you for partnering with me, whatever. But yeah, I think managing expectations is big. I do think obviously the platforms want brands to funnel their money into paid advertising. So, do I think it's suppression? No, but do I think I don't know. I just think sponsored content doesn't do as well.
Yeah.
I think the more organic the post can look in your feed, the better. And I think the more you partner with the same brand, the better, because your audience just gets more used to it. And so they want to engage with it. I think the first couple times you mention a new brand is always tough because it's just new for your audience. So that's also a plug for longer term partnerships, even if it's just a couple posts.
Agree.
Just doing one. I will say Byron also said 2 rounds of revisions are baked into those contracts. So besides putting up too many guardrails, what are some ways that people might offend influencers and don't intend to? First one that comes to mind for me, like you, the marketer or whatever, reach out to an influencer, ask them for their rates, analytics, etc. They say my rate is $5,000 and you say I have $600. Would that work for you? It doesn't offend everybody, but it does offend some creators. They start to feel a little insulted.
Yeah,
right? So I think it feels like you're not valuing the work they do or the price that they share with you. If it doesn't fit your budget, that's not the problem. That's not offensive at all. But I think approaching negotiation conversations is already really delicate. And you have to keep in mind what the creator is looking to accomplish and what you're looking to accomplish. And is there a way for you to meet in the middle with an exchange of value or not? And if it's a no, then that's okay.
I would say that if you're like offending the creator, then either you're a weirdo or the creator's a weirdo, because everybody's trying to do something together. So if you get a bad vibe, like on a kickoff call, then I would bail on all fronts, because this person's gonna be out there championing your brand. And if you don't feel good about it and how you're interacting with them, then that's a recipe for failure.
Kickoff calls are a great idea. A lot of brands don't do them, but I actually highly
Really? They don't?
Yeah, I highly recommend them, even if you're doing a one-off post. Like the B2C space, we typically do kickoff calls with creators just so that you have a chance to meet the brand. Like, you're talking to us the whole time. So you have a chance to meet somebody from the company, walk through the brief, answer any questions, and you just build more rapport.
I can't believe brands don't do that. That's weird.
Most don't. So
Weird.
So a couple of questions that I'd also gotten from the newsletter. If I have $50K to spend on creators next quarter, am I better off with one big name or 10 smaller ones?
Ooh, what's your hot take?
One, it depends on your industry and what you're trying to accomplish. I will always vote to allocate the spend to a couple of creators at least, because then you're going to be able to get more data and make educated decisions about who to renew with, how to refine your messaging. If you blow that entire budget on one person, the performance of the entire program is now hinging on this one person. And from a marketer's perspective, that's just not a great data set. So
100 all day long, not 1 to 10, because out of the 10, 2 will be great, 3 will be mid, and then the other 5 will suck. And it gives you the ability to test. The biggest fail that happens in influencer marketing in general is like, we want to test influencer marketing. We've never done it. And you get one influencer and it doesn't go well. And then you're like, it doesn't work. The variable of that influencer is too big of a thing, right? It's any other marketing channel. So you always want to have multiple influencers that you're working with, and they're going to have different reactions, different things are going to happen, but that's a huge variable. So to only have one is just epic mistake.
Yeah. And also you're not able to test multiple types of messaging. Like,
right.
Just cast a wider net. What is a contract clause that you didn't think you needed until something blew up?
Oh, getting out of it straight up. And just actually getting out of it and be like, okay, listen, you can pay me for what I did or whatever, but actually not being locked into the 90 days, 6 months, or a year, because it's so uncomfortable when something goes sideways, because sometimes it does.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, but you have to, right? There's nothing worse than posting when you were like not into that brand anymore. So I learned that the hard way. What about you?
Actually, I would say the same, like having some kind of exit clause for both parties, especially like one thing you'll see often in contracts is that the brand wants a way out in case the influencer does something that like reflects poorly on the brand, but it's not mirrored back to the creator. If the brand does something that just has terrible PR and is like completely against what the creator thought they stood for, I also want a way out. How can brands ensure transparency and maintain trust with audiences during sponsored collaborations? I wonder if it's more the creators ensuring transparency and maintaining trust.
Yeah.
I'd say the number one way is disclosing the partnership, which legally you have to anyway, but also I feel like when somebody does a sponsored post, I don't know if you see these on LinkedIn, especially when they don't disclose it, it's still very obvious, by the way, that you're partnering with the brand. And now I feel like I can't trust what you're saying.
Totally.
You're disclosing to me that there's a partnership.
100%. And also when it's not a partnership, you should disclose that too. Like, I really love this brand or whatever this thing. You say, by the way, I'm not being paid to say this. I think you should be disclosing it both ways.
Yeah. So I think that's the simplest way. And otherwise you're just going to break trust.
Totally.
Influencer PR packages. When or is it ever okay to send a PR box they were not expecting? I
Oh,
would
I love them. I'll tell you my favorite one that I have in the all-time greatest PR box I ever got. I'm not like so cool. I don't get these every day, but I gave a speech at HubSpot's Inbound, which is now Unbound. And because I'm a strange dude, when I was on stage, I did a whole thing about how much I love wearing Tommy John underwear. Okay. And I do greatest underwear of all time. And I didn't know their head of PR, whatever, whoever was in the audience.
right.
I got a box of all the newest underwear styles you could possibly imagine. It was the greatest day of my life. Other
That's
than my
actually
kids
really
being
cool.
born, I never felt cooler. I never felt cooler. So I don't know what the answer is to the question, but send them to me.
Jay will take all the PR boxes. One,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm dying to know how you managed to work that into your Unbound speech, but love that. And yeah, I don't think it's ever bad to send a PR box. Like people
Well,
love,
they're expensive. That's why it's bad.
but like for the creator, it's never gonna just because they weren't expecting it.
No, the only thing I would say is with your PR boxes, don't send garbage. What I mean by that is don't send a mug. Don't send something that you can kill. God help you for sending a mouse pad to anybody ever again, right? Send something. If you're going to send a PR box, have it be awesome. Like Chili Piper sent me something. It was like a really hot sauce, stuff like that, where it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's fun. And you even may want to post about it or whatever. Just don't be like, oh, we sent you socks. I also, by the way, whenever you buy swag, I do a lot of swag stuff. Make sure that whatever the swag is you're buying is going to be visual on like a Zoom. I mean, everyone loves socks, but to tell you the truth, you're not showing people your socks, right? That's why I like shirts. I like hats. I like things you could hold. Just think about what it is that you're investing in when you're sending out that PR box and if it's a visual thing.
Love that. Agreed. So I don't know if this counts as a PR box technically, but when I went to that LinkedIn creator event last week, they had like these gift bags for us. And in it, there was cute stuff. They gave us a camera, like a screenless camera, bucket hats, stuff like that.
Oh, that's good. I like
But
that.
they also gave us custom trading cards that had our face and info on them, like little things like that, like Tommy John underwear and custom
There you
trading
go.
cards. If you can
Yeah.
personalize it at all, I think that's
Right.
just a touch.
Amazing.
Any thoughts on impressions? When I started posting last year, a typical post might get 2 to 3K. Now content is objectively better, but many posts only get 200 to 300.
I don't think that it's like an algorithmic thing. I think we have to constantly chase our tail and see what it is that's ripping or not ripping. Right now, for example, vertical video is doing way better than horizontal video. Ironically, we're on a horizontal video right now. Behind the scenes, lo-fi content is doing way better than anything polished. The content types, for example, if you say the word webinar, it's terrible, but insider session is crushing it. Instead of just putting out a guide, if you put out a blueprint or a checklist, that's crushing it. You kind of have to understand what the vibe is right now and lean into it and not just say, oh, it worked before, let's do it again, because it's always changing.
And okay, so the first thing that came to mind when I read this was what you mentioned about lo-fi content. You're saying
Yeah.
the content is objectively better editing, stronger delivery. There's something wrong with being more comfortable on camera or having stronger delivery, but I am curious about the editing. Maybe your audience just came to know you for lower fi content, and so
Right.
it is a shift for them. It could be as simple as that.
Right.
I would just start testing out different stuff. You might think it's better, but what does your audience actually connect with?
Agree.
How is AI changing influencer marketing? So, on a couple different levels. One, like there are AI influencer marketing agencies popping up. I'll be honest, we've had a couple clients talk about using them and then they ditch them and like keep working with us. So I think there is still a human to human element that's helpful in this space. And then we're also seeing obviously more AI generated content creators that are also partnering with brands. Like Lil Michaela's been doing it for I think like 10 years. And then also just seeing more AI generated content. And so I think it's shifting it in the sense that people are looking for more human content and like human creators. And so there's like this not erosion of trust, but like I feel like audiences are really hyper aware if a brand is using any sort of AI thing. And it's just something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. And the other thing I threw in there is any images that are created using AI, like entirely, those will be depressed by the platforms. And they know if algorithmically, if the image that your creator's using was created using AI. So that's something that you want to really check for because that'll destroy your campaign if they're just using AI slop images.
All right. I love it.
Everybody, get this book. It just came out. Stupider people have done it. All net proceeds go to the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Get on Amazon. Why not? And follow Bree. She's really smart. I'm not. Connect with
Follow
us
Jay
everywhere. What
too.
else?
He's
I don't
great.
know.
Drop the link in the comments. If
Yeah.
you haven't purchased it already, I got an early copy and it was incredible. Jay is an incredible author, even if he acts like he's not, and it's a great book.
You're very nice. You're wonderful. Everyone follow Bree. She's smart.
All right. See you later.
Bye.